Hey guys, it's the Nitro RC Nerds here with another edition of Nitro RC for Dummies. And today I'm finally going to do a review on the Losi 810. I know there's a lot of videos out there that cover the unboxing of it, or someone will give a review of it the day or so after they've had it. I'm going to take a little bit of a different spin. I've had this now for probably about, what would you say, Ange? How long do you think I've had them running, maybe?
A month, maybe?
Maybe about a month. And I think we've gone through at least 15 to 20 tanks. So I think I'm educated enough now to give this car a very solid review. Now, I'm going to ask you up front to be very patient with me, and as I apologize that the car is as dirty as you're ever going to see it on film, I promise. In fact, I just got finished running it, but I figured to myself, what better time to do a review than after your juices are flowing and you went out there and you're running the car. So I just thought, okay, let's have a little ad hoc moment and go ahead and give her a review. So once again, I apologize about its looks, but I will get in there and I will clean the you-know-what out of it, I guarantee you. So the first thing that I want to talk about is when I was looking at this car, this was actually an ad hoc purchase for me. In other words, I was, and I promise you I'm not going to spend the entire video cleaning this, but I just cannot wait to get my hands on it and clean it. This was one of those purchases where I thought, I just out of the sudden blue, I want another buggy, and I went ahead and bought it. And I'm so happy I did. Now, one of the questions that many people ask about this car is it a basher or is it a racer? And I guess the best way I can tell you is, while it's very, very fast. Yes, it is extremely fast.
Oh, I smoked you!
It's also very hard. This thing is as hard as nails. So instead of saying it's not a racer, nor is it a basher, let's look at the glass half full. Let's say it is a combination of both. Because I guarantee you, this is a car that you can take out to your track. At least I'm about to find out pretty soon. You can take it out to your track and at least compete. But at the same time, if you get smoked out at the track, you tell those guys to come to your track and see how their cars do out in the wild open. Because this thing, I cannot tell you, I'm very, very impressed at how hard it is. Extremely great car. So let's talk about some of the features. The first thing that I really like about it is the size. It's a 1/8 scale, but ironically, pretty much all the same parts come from the Losi 10T Truggy, which is a 1/10 scale. So this is kind of a shrunken down 1/8 scale buggy, and it's extremely light, and it's I don't know how to explain it, but when I hold it, it's one of those things that I want to snuggle up with and take to bed. Okay, I know that's creepy, but regardless, I just love the way that this car handles. It's got an aluminum chassis. It's very lightweight. The engine on here, extremely easy to start. If you haven't, take a look at my Losi break-in video. The engine, knock on wood, starts with just a few pulls. It's got the Losi 3.4, which is a 0.19 block, and there's a claimed 34,000 horsepower with it, and I can see that. I think that this engine has plenty enough horsepower for this car. The next thing I really like about it are the servos. The steering servo has that Losi high torque steering servo, and I looked at the specs on it, and I think the torque was like 0.70 or 0.80. And what's funny is I just replaced the steering servo on our Offna Hyper 7 with an Airtronics that I think has like 192 or 0.192 torque on it. But this thing here, I mean, it's just as good. It is incredible the amount of torque. And I've run it, I promise you, through all different terrains. and it's just extremely awesome. The next thing is the radio system. So this is a Spectrum SR300, and it's a this is one of the big selling points behind the car. Now, honestly, I can't say that I've seen a lot of pluses with this radio system, other than it's been extremely reliable. The trim on it is very, very sensitive, but other than that, I guess that's really what you're looking for, is look at radios as kind of like an official in football. You don't want to hear from them. You just want them there to do their job. And so far, once again, knock on wood, I've not had any problems whatsoever with the radio system. Another thing, I love the look of this car, especially the body. And once again, the body is very dirty, and I'm going to fix all that soon. But I love the body. I just love the layout of it. I like the fact that the cooling head has a cooling head protector on it, because if you're not careful, which bashers aren't careful, without the cooling head protector, you get into stuff like this right here. And you can take a look here at this cooling head protector. This thing's already had its share of flips and turns and whatnot, so all I need to do is I can buy myself, a $4 or $5 piece and replace that and keep it looking very shiny. The fuel tank on it is, I believe, an 82cc, and with the .19 engine, which is supposed to be supposed to help with the fuel economy. I'd say we get probably, what would you say, Ange? How many minutes of drive time with this?
15.
About 15 minutes of drive time. So not bad. Nothing. It's I guess it's ironic, because you have an engine here that is supposed to help with fuel economy, but the fuel tank itself is not that big. So I guess maybe in a way they kind of cancel each other out. One of the other things that you'll want to know about this car is when you're looking for parts. You're not going to find a lot of parts for the Losi 810, but that's okay. 90 to 95% of the parts are shared with the Losi 10T, and those parts you can find almost anywhere. So if you're unable to find any specific part, just look them up for the Losi 10T, and it'll fit. The air filter on here, it's got the dual stage air filter. Ironically, I actually, when I took it off first time, I forgot to put a zip tie back on it. And this thing, again, has been up and down the block, all over, flips, turns, you name it. This has yet to come off. It's no excuse. I still need to put a zip tie back on there, but just kind of to show you how, at least, how snugly that fits. This is fairly easy to get off. The bottom filter, a little bit tougher to get off, but what can you do? I've yet to really get in here and take things apart and clean the heck out of it. That will be in a future video. But once again, it's a very, very impressive car. I absolutely love the way that it handles.